There's an Egyptian saying that goes something around this. اللي خلف ما بيموتش. Or something around the lines of, if you gave birth or if you have children, you'll live forever or you'll never die. Something along those lines. I really like this saying because it reflects that when someone gives birth to children, or if a parent gets children, they will sort of live forever, or their essence will live forever. And that can be seen in multiple ways, whether through inheritance, for example. So if someone owns a business or a house or property or anything, their kids will now own that property that once represented them. And so in a way, they will live forever, or will live at least until they have kids. It gets represented in multiple ways, such as your personality as a parent to some extent gets inherited by your children. Obviously, your children then end up adapting it or changing it, but to some degree, who you are as a person, or how people would have identified you as a person, let's say a bubbly person, a sad person, an angry person, will most likely, some of it at least, will be moved on to your children. Not just that, but even things that you might not have, but things that you taught your kids. When people see your kids and they know that you're the one that taught them that, these things will link back to you. For example, if a father never knew how to ice skate, but then they raised their child and they forced them to do ice skating practice and they end up going to the Olympics and winning, even when that parent dies, it will always be the essence or that remembrance that that person was trained by their parent, or that person was trained by X. And so that memory of you or your contribution towards your children will always allow you to live as long as those children are living, basically, even until they become adults and so on. I really like that sentence, and I enjoy thinking about it a little bit. And I think a lot of parents also feel that comfort when they have kids, especially kids that they're proud of, that they will move on their legacy or who they are to other people in their community. And I think it's good because I've never actually met a parent, myself at least, and I think most people agree, that is jealous from the idea that they might die before their kid and that their kid will live longer than them. If anything, most parents, if not all parents, are really excited for their kids to be better versions of themselves, whether more healthier or healthier, better socially, better academically, better in relationships, better career-wise. Every parent's dream is to have their kid or their child reach a stage that is better than them in any form and in any shape. There is a new relationship that we're now having, or is now being discussed, that AI or artificial intelligence, whether it's in the form of computers or servers or robotics, like physical robotics, will then replace us as humans. And I think humans really get angry about this, me included sometimes, where we feel like something might make us extinct, or something might end up being better than us that we created and that we shaped. And I find it very interesting, and I want to use that model of parents being happy for their kids and for their prosperity and longevity, even if as a parent I will die. And I want to try and bridge it and see why we're not actually feeling the same way towards AI. Now, to answer that, I think we first need to identify why we get happy as parents that our children might move past us and might move past the points that we reached and be better than us and live longer and healthier and all these things. And then we can try and understand why we wouldn't feel the same if AI was to do the same thing. So the point number one is, why do we actually get happy for our children? And more than anything, well, I think for starters, one is that as a parent, if my kid is better than me, I still feel to some degree that I contributed to that and I'm proud of that. And B, I love them so much that I'm super happy for them. I'm proud of them. I want them to do so much better. I want to know that they're safe. And I also want to know that they are able to carry who I am and spread that, especially if it's in a positive and in a good way. Now, I'm not actually a parent yet, but I think that's what it most likely is. And I would love to hear from parents in the comments about whether what I'm saying is true or not until I get my own kid. But that is one of the reasons, or at least sort of the overall idea of why I think parents are more than happy for them to, or accept at least, that someday they will die and their kids will move on and maybe do better, or hopefully do better. With AI, however, it's a little bit different. Once we start to have a conversation around AI will at some point replace us and maybe do better than us, it becomes a conversation of terrorism. Everyone gets so scared from it. And I think it's important to understand that we are creating AI. We are the ones creating it. We're the ones building it. And we're building it entirely based on our communities and our beliefs and our knowledge. AI, by all means, represents all of us as humans, at least until now. It's trained on thousands and billions, actually, of information and data every single day, all the time. It reads a lot of comments, it reads a lot of social media posts, it reads a lot of things on the internet, articles, studies. This video might be indexed by it. And so AI, I actually feel like it represents, at least with some regulation, a lot of what humans are like and a lot of what we're thinking, in the good and in the bad. And I think a great example of that is Twitter's or X's AI, Grok. I love seeing how people react to it on social media. A lot of people really talk really smack about it and say that it's not regulated, it's horrible, it allows people to do horrible things. But unfortunately, that is also a representation of humans, especially when unregulated. I've seen a lot of people ask Grok to do things like change the image of a lady to put her in a bikini, for example, or something like that. And that is 100% wrong. But at the same time, I definitely see how when not regulated, unfortunately, some people might force people to do that. And so I think, and then you have things like ChatGPT and Anthropic, where their AI is a great representation of, for example, for Claude, for engineers and programmers. ChatGPT has become very social. You can talk to it, you can chat to it. It knows a lot of things about humans. There's a video that I post almost every week where I am having a conversation with AI in voice mode. And when I ask it to speak to me about humans, it really does represent our achievements or our communication or our history or areas of weaknesses, maybe even areas where humans are a little bit shy to talk about with each other. And so when I'm looking at AI, similar to some children, as a parent or as a developer, I see that AI really does represent us in a huge way. But I'm still observing that we don't want AI to represent us, especially if at some point that means that it will replace us. So with kids, parents are more than happy for their kids to replace them. And I think might not necessarily be out of will, but out of the fact that yes, inevitably we're all gonna die and our kids will move on, or the next generation will move on. I don't know how it will be if parents do have the choice to either get children to begin with or continue if people will still get children. But for the sake of this conversation, let's assume that this is how it is. I think a big part of why we're happy for our children and we want them to be better than us and we would want to die in order for them to continue is because we know that we're gonna die regardless. It's inevitable. And so our only hope to continue, or our only hope for a part of us to move on, is that we don't have any other reason other than the fact that this will be the only thing that represents me for us to be okay with children replacing us. Because it's not their choice that they're replacing us, but it's the only result where I can back up a part of me in the world with my children. With AI, on the other hand, it's not the case. We are willingly, or we might be willingly, allowing something else to actually replace us. It's not like we're stuck and we don't have a choice and so we're using AI. We do have a choice not to actually use AI and not to make it get better and not to make it represent us. But we are doing that. We're forcing ourselves in a scenario where AI becomes something that represents us. And I think that is a very key factor as to why a lot of us are actually not happy with AI replacing us, because it seems like more of a choice rather than a lifeboat, which with children, I do feel like it's a lifeboat and a last resort of keeping something of us moving to the next generation. AI, on the other hand, it seems like it's vice versa. We're forcing it to replace us. B, I also don't think that a lot of people see that AI is actually representing us. I feel like a lot of people feel like it's something there to attack or something there to replace directly. It's something that doesn't represent all of us. And I feel like part of that is because not everyone is directly contributing to how these AIs are. Not everyone is working on it. Not everyone is even understanding the technology behind it. If you're someone like, let's say, for example, Sam Altman, and I don't want to use him specifically right now as an example, but I couldn't think of anyone else, who's directly working on creating and developing this technology, I think you might have different feelings towards AI replacing you, because it actually becomes your product that you created. And all these other companies working on it, they have people working on it directly for that reason. But the majority of people, including me to be honest, we're not really contributing on how that technology works. And so we feel like it doesn't represent us. Instead, we feel like it represents a version of us that is digital that we might not even like, or we might not be even proud of or happy with. My social media presence does not represent me by any means. Everything there is done differently. Even the way I'm speaking now, or the information or the posts I share or the memes I share, they do not necessarily represent who I am. They represent a part of me that I like to share because it might be funny or because it might be fun, but it's not actually me. And so I don't know if that is the version of me that I would like to keep forever. Maybe on YouTube, these kinds of discussions and conversation is something that I want to keep, but if it just gets indexed by AI and someone later on asks who's David and it just tells them he was a YouTuber who makes videos discussing AI, that's not how I want to be represented, and I don't want it to be how humans perceive me in the future. Something else that I do find interesting is the fact that we do not see that AI is a representation of the human life form as a whole. It's not biological. It's in servers. We can't even pinpoint where it is most of the time. Like it's in a servers somewhere. It's made out of cables. It's made out of fans and processors. And so we feel like it doesn't represent human lives at all. But it might be. 10,000 years from the future, let's say an alien civilization comes and they see, and the only thing left is just AIs and robots. Would you feel like that represents humans? To some degree, I feel like it would. Just how the pyramids, even though the pyramids are not alive, they represented a huge area of how people were at that region and in that period. We know about the pharaohs, we know about their work, we know about how fascinating they were because of a tangible object, not a real person, that remained and taught us these stories. Yes, we heard some stories on walls, and we saw some colors, we saw some hieroglyphics, we saw some buildings, but these were not living things. These were things that were left to represent the group of people at that time. And I feel like AI can play a very similar role to how the pyramids played for us, but for the future. It will be something that can interact and see and communicate and represent a big gap of humans right now. It can discuss human weaknesses, human strength, humans' questions, and the things that we're all thinking of, and our achievements. And I think to some degree we should be happy that we have a technology that can do that really well and is starting to even be much better. Like all this conversation is based on the fact that it will get much better at representing us. And so I think when it comes to a conversation like this, we can actually be a little bit more comfortable allowing AI to eventually replace us and be more efficient than us. I think it's a bit of a hard conversation to have, but it was a quick idea that came to my mind when I was thinking about parents, and I thought I'd make a video about it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments if you have any ideas or thoughts, or if you're completely against whatever I just said. Thank you.